Paris. We begin this edition in Ukraine, where President Volodymyr Zelensky says he's ready to hold elections during wartime, provided the United States and European partners can guarantee security for the process. Zelensky's asked Parliament to prepare legislation that would make a vote possible under martial law within the next 60 to 90 days. The announcement comes as Kyiv prepares to deliver updated peace proposal documents to Washington on Wednesday, while US President Donald Trump continues to urge Ukraine to accept a deal that includes territorial concessions, a position Zelensky has repeatedly rejected. Gulliver Cragg joins us now from the second city of Kharkiv. Gulliver, a stunning turn of events and a stunning statement by Zelensky.
Well, I mean, it was a statement made in response to a question by journalists, but it is definitely something new because Volodymyr Zelensky is talking about holding elections under martial law, which would mean changing the terms of martial law in order for it to allow elections to be held before a peace settlement is found. He talked about a time frame of 60 to 90 days, suggesting that he doesn't expect a ceasefire or peace settlement, I suppose, in that time frame. He said that he had asked MPs in Parliament to come up with proposals, so it suggests that he has been thinking about this for some time, and it wasn't just a spontaneous response to that question from journalists. But quite how serious it is, I'm not sure. I was having dinner, as it happens, with some Ukrainian intellectuals as this news dropped. Tatiana Ogarkova, who sometimes comments on France 24, she immediately said, well, this is obviously just part of the game. It's part of the negotiations with the Americans to get them to provide security guarantees. Perhaps it would be a test of what kind of security guarantees European and American allies of Ukraine would be prepared to put in place in order for Ukraine to hold elections more or less safely and fairly. And Tatiana Ogarkova's analysis would be that this probably just wouldn't happen because they wouldn't actually be able to do it. And so it's just part of the game of Zelensky showing willing with everything when he doesn't actually think he's really going to have to do it. But when it became clear when we read the news more closely that he was talking about holding elections under martial law before a peace settlement is reached, Volodymyr Yermolenko, a Ukrainian philosopher, he said, well, it's true that 2 years ago I would have been dead against holding elections, but now I think maybe I wouldn't be so much against it because confidence in Volodymyr Zelensky's government has fallen so much. And that may reflect public opinion in general. And there might be a feeling that although holding elections would be very difficult, dangerous and prone to Russian manipulation if it happens during wartime, it may nevertheless at this point be a less bad option than allowing an unpopular government to continue in wartime.
Well, Gulliver, I'm sorry I wasn't part of that table discussion. It sounds absolutely fascinating, but I'm just curious, was there any kind of consensus as to if this could, in fact, change Washington's mind on anything, especially when it comes to territorial concession?
I don't understand whether the elections are something. I don't see how the elections would be a game changer for the Americans. The key things that are on the table with the peace negotiations are territorial concessions and security guarantees, not just for the holding of elections, but to prevent Russia from violating the terms of any peace agreement and attacking other parts of Ukraine. Those negotiations are still ongoing. If there were elections, polls say, it's perhaps worth noting this, polls suggest that if there were presidential elections and Volodymyr Zelensky ran for re-election, he would lose. That's according to polling, but polling that's been done without any real perspective of elections happening and any campaign being underway. So, of course, anything could happen.
What do we expect in the documents then to be sent back to Washington tomorrow?
What do we expect from the documents? That's the peace deal that's to be sent back. Well, so little has come out. So little detail has been all we've heard is from all sides, really, including Volodymyr Zelensky, is that good progress has been made and that they're happy with the attitude that various people have brought to the negotiations. We understand that from the original 28-point plan, it's down to 20 points. Volodymyr Zelensky said that yesterday, and the ones that were most unacceptable to Ukraine have been removed. I understand that to mean amnesty for Russians about war crimes, the Russian language being made an official language in Ukraine. I think that's been scrapped. What they keep saying, and what we don't have answers about, is the territorial concessions issue and the security guarantees issue. I mean, Volodymyr Zelensky keeps on saying that Ukraine will not give up territory. He doesn't have the moral or judicial right to do that. It would require a constitutional change. But is that really the case if it's only to be a recognition de facto? It's all a little bit vague. As to security guarantees, Volodymyr Zelensky keeps on talking about progress having been made to security guarantees being provided by Ukraine's European and perhaps also American partners. But it's very, very hard to see them actually being prepared to provide the kind of guarantees. There would be a sort of Article 5 guarantee that Ukraine would be defended militarily if attacked again. It's very hard to see them being willing to provide that. And it's even harder to see Vladimir Putin agreeing to any deal that involved that kind of a component.
Gulliver Cragg, thank you so much for analysis from Kharkiv, the second city after that statement by Zelensky responding to reporters. Let's bring